Hello, in this short tutorial session, we'll be going through the basics of JavaScript, and we'll be seeing why JavaScript. Let's look at our agenda for today. We'll be looking at why JavaScript, how to get started with JavaScript. We'll be looking at some data types. We'll be looking at comparison operators and how to declare comments in JavaScript. So let's get started. Why JavaScript? So JavaScript is one of the most popular programming languages on earth. It's used to add interactivity to web pages, process data. You can also use it to create various applications. We could use it to create mobile applications with some JavaScript frameworks such as Ionic and Angular. We can also use it to make our regular desktop applications such as Microsoft Word and its likes using a JavaScript framework known as Electron. We could also use JavaScript to create 2D games using a JavaScript framework known as Phaser. Interestingly, JavaScript also plays nicely at the back end using another JavaScript framework known as Node.js. So as you can see, JavaScript is everywhere, and I'll be happy to introduce you to how you can get started with JavaScript. So moving on, how do you add JavaScript to your existing HTML and CSS or your existing web page? We can do that in three methods or three ways. One is by adding this script tag in the body of your HTML or in the head section or in an external file. To add that in the body, let's look at an example on how to do that. Then we'll look at other methods of adding JavaScript to your existing. So I'll be using my favorite code editor, VS Code. It's open source and you can easily download your own version of VS Code and get started using it as your code editor. So I have a very simple HTML page here. This does nothing more than to print hello world to the screen, and that's between h1 tag here. And as you can see, there's nothing. This is just bare bone HTML. So here we look at one of the methods to add a JavaScript file to. So we could just do scripts. Then we write all our codes in between here. So for example, we could do a simple console.log Once we save this and we check our web page, if you look at the console log, you will see welcome to JavaScript printed there. One of the other means you can add JavaScript to your web page is using an external file. So assuming we have, let's say, a plain file, save it as app.js. Here I just named it app.js. So we could just let's say write the same thing we had earlier. Console.log. So because we save this file as app.js, to embed it and make our existing HTML file to recognize and make use of that, it's just similar the way we embed our styles files or style to our existing HTML. So we just do src. So we just link it here. Assuming the files are still in the same directory. So saving this automatically means when you check your web page, this single line of JavaScript will be printed out to the screen. Okay, so let's look at some other ways we can get JavaScript printed out to the screen. I'm using Chrome here. You could use any of your favorite browser, for example Mozilla, but here using Chrome I could just do right click, inspect, and if you look at it, you could see we are currently on the Elements tab here. So many HTML elements are already printed here, but to do JavaScript on the fly, you could just do console.log. And this is one of the for me why JavaScript is kind of beginner friendly, without any complicated setup, installation, dependencies. I could just write my JavaScript on the fly right here. For example, the same, let's try it, console.log. When you press enter, you could see it's printed immediately to the screen. Welcome to JavaScript. As you can see, done. Let's go back. So we've seen how to add JavaScript to our existing HTML page, and also as a note, it's also a good idea to place your script tag towards the end of the body element, that's at the closing body tag in your HTML page. This simply because that could improve page load, so that HTML display is not blocked by script loading. You could put a lot of code in your JavaScript files, and that means that your page will have to wait till all the JavaScript files have been initialized and fully loaded before your page would load. Okay, so we've seen these two, how to link to an external file. We've also seen how to use our print out information or a message in JavaScript using the console.log method. So we move on and we look at some data types in JavaScript. Numbers. So we could define a number pretty easily in JavaScript. For example, a number data type could include a positive integer, negative integer, or decimal. So for example, if you jump into our console once more, you could clear your console by clearing this, by clicking on this. If you type 4, it returns 4. Put minus 90, it returns 90. So you could see that you can even do our regular maths operations. For example, 3 plus 5 returns 8. 7 divided by 2 returns 3.5. So our regular mathematical operations, division, multiplication, so on and so forth, you can also run that using JavaScript. Okay, so let's go to comparison operators. Now what that means is that you can just compare your numbers just like you do in mathematics. For example, here is 5 greater than 10. Here is important to note that its comparison returns either true or false. So if we run that, is 5 greater than 10, it says false. Is 10 or 15 less than 19, says true. So we could do all our regular mathematics comparison here. As you can see here, we could do less than, we could compare if they are greater than, we could compare less than or equal to, we could compare greater than or equal to, we could even compare if two numbers are equal to or not equal to. So we could do a whole lot of stuff in mathematically related in JavaScript. Finally, for this brief session, we'll be looking at how to add comments to our JavaScript files. Comments help you to explain your code and make things clearer. So for example, you've written even if it's a short code, comments could help you clarify your thought process or the reasons why you followed a particular code pattern or why you did what you did in your code. So in JavaScript, you could add code in two ways, either as a single line or as a multi-line comment. So let's jump into our code editor. So I've written this console.log line of code and I want to add a comment to it. So I just do / and I write my single line comment. This print. And that's all. So to do a multi-line, so I have more interesting narration to or explanation to give to this, I could just do close it. So as you can see, also to note that multi-line comment can spawn multiple lines, and you could do, and it's still valid. So this is just a brief introduction to some few things you could do with JavaScript. Thank you.